Hello, and welcome to another edition of Find Her Seat podcast. We're the podcast that helps other women find their rightful seat at the table through health, wellness, beauty, and business. I am your co-host, Jennifer Etter.
And I am your other co-host, Susan Mobley, and we are very excited to welcome Jessica Bedore to the show today. She is Mrs. United States America
yeah.
in 2018. And we were so excited because also we had Lucho welcome us today and to let us use their beautiful facility here in their store, in Uptown Park. I mean, every girl's dream is right behind us.
Yes, so if you can see any of these shoes, I literally walked in. I am a shoe junkie.
Yes, right now, the Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Totally down with the Barbie
shoes.
shoes. There's another pair over there that I'm like, I'm going to have to buy.
And there's a reason we're at Lucho, not just because it's a fabulous store, but Jessica is actually doing something coming up very soon.
Very soon.
What is the event that you have coming up soon?
So we actually have a nonprofit organization. It's called Brittmoore Rescue, and we were born during Harvey, really. We came across during Hurricane Harvey. As y'all, none of us have forgotten Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah, right.
So we came along as though we were just dispatching, and we collected donations and ran them throughout the city. But we didn't want to stop there. So we actually ended up going forward with it and turning it into a nonprofit. And so when we're not out chasing hurricanes and fishing boats, we are raising funds, and those funds go to actually rebuild the homes of that were affected during Hurricane Harvey.
Oh, that is
amazing.
Not this weekend, but next weekend, August 24th, we have Come Heels or High Water, and it's actually Havana themed this year.
That's so cool.
And one of the reasons that we're bringing Lucho in is because they have these amazing pieces. If y'all have never been into Lucho, their clothing is amazing. It's rich, it's vibrant, it's got a lot of Latin feel to it. And the shoes do too. And so we decided to go with the Cuban theme this year. And so the men are going to be walking in Lucho clothing. But for the first time, and the only time, Lucho is actually putting out a women's line for our show. But
that is exciting.
You'll only be able to see it that night of the event. But after it's done, you'll never see it again. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you want to show up. And those of you who are not familiar, we are in Houston, Texas. And so Lucho is actually here in the Uptown Park area.
Yes.
And so, of course, the event is going to be held
at the Houston Decorative Center, so off Woodway.
Yes.
So it's August 24th. The doors open at 7 p.m. And we try to change it up. We don't want you to just come to a fashion show. I mean, we love fashion.
Right.
We're in a shoe store. We love fashion.
We love
get
fashion.
it. We love seeing the fashion. It runs lives. We love fashion. But we want you to have fun too. And that's kind of what we did last year. Y'all came to last year's event, and we had a great time. That was at Women Lounge. And we want to get people really involved. Mm-hmm. We keep tickets affordable because we want the community involved.
Right.
Harvey was a community effort, so therefore the events should be community efforts. So, I mean, you can get a general admission ticket for $50. Mm-hmm. That pays for your drinks that night. That pays for any light bites that you might have. We have entertainment coming in. We've got Cuban beat bands coming in. We have Latin dancers coming in.
And your co-hosts of Find Her Seat will be there.
Find Her Seat will be
come out and say hi to us.
Cheering you on.
Yes.
We have some amazing vendors. So we've set a little Havana market. So while you're there, we have all these vendors from across Texas that are coming in. And I mean from across Texas. We have people coming from Smithville. We have people coming from on the other side of Austin. So these vendors are coming in. They're bringing all their specialty pieces so that you can actually go purchase these pieces from them. And in doing so, they have donated their entry fee over to the organization. So that money goes into the community as well.
So I want to kind of go back first because those of you who are from the Houston area or have family and friends from the Houston area, you know what an impact Harvey made on our city and on the lives of so many.
Right.
I mean, even out in Katy where we live, we had homes evacuated, and even a year later, schools and homes are still left unfinished. And so during that time, this was when you decided to do something big, or was there something that you had already done in the past?
No. This was we like to give the motto that actually the motto of Brittmoore Rescue is we don't know what we're doing. Like that is our quote unquote model, because everything from the beginning of Harvey, when we started dispatching, we didn't know what we were doing.
So I just want to
nothing.
All right. So anybody that's listening may think, wow, where did this come from? This idea. And so I just want you to really like take us back, like from literally we're dispatching. Are you at your table? I mean,
so it started at the first part of it, because you got to think that we didn't know Harvey was going to do as much damage as we thought. We thought this was a little category 3, I think, hurricane was going to blow through the side of Corpus Christi, might do some damage. We're going to wake up in the morning, we might have to clean up some stuff. And then Harvey was not that at all. Harvey didn't even touch Corpus Christi. I mean, it came all the way down. And, you know, a lot of times we think of Harvey too. We think of Houston, but we don't think of all those underlying towns outside of Houston that we were having to help and are devastated. I mean, like, absolutely devastated. So we're sitting there and I'm watching this happen. And a friend of mine, Tasha Siva, was part of the Cajun Navy Relief in Louisiana. And so I started seeing her dispatch our calls. She was helping. And so I called her and I was like, I can help. Like, I'm at home. We can't go anywhere. I have a phone. I have a computer. I have a TV. I can do whatever I need to do. You just tell me what you need me to do. So I just started filling out tickets. When somebody needs rescue, they go, they click, they get rescuer, they call in. It's immediately entered into a CAD system, and then it's dispatched out to the next boat or dispatcher. I know people think we're just rednecks in boats, but we actually have we have a lot of technology. My friend Sean Boudreaux, who's the president of the Cajun Navy, told that one time. He's like, it seems like we're rednecks in boats, but we had a lot of technology going on.
And of course,
you know,
he's got Boudreaux as the last
name.
name.
Boudreaux, yes, Sean. But so yeah, that's where it started. I remember making my first phone call, and like, okay, it's like one of those things, like, you'll never, like, people don't understand, like, you can never unhear some of the things that you've heard, and you can never unsee some of the things you see. And my first phone call was to a gentleman who had literally, like, his grandmother passed away in the home, and they had been sitting there for almost 2 days. They couldn't get help. Nobody could get out there to them. They were stuck. So after that first phone call, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Right. But then I just kept watching, and I'm like, no, I have to do this. So I just kept calling. We just kept calling. In the meantime, like, my husband's running around, like, he's doing everything around the house. Like, he's making sure that the kids are okay. He sees what I'm doing. He's making sure coffee, you know, he's kind of taking care of the brunt of the work. And so we started operations out of our home. So from me just working with the Cajun Navy Relief and entering tickets, then went to the next day, we woke up and there were like 8,000 missed phone calls.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, oh, we have to do something drastic. Like, this is really bad. Like, we can't even keep up with this. At literally that moment, the electricity went out my house. So, you know, they were shutting down the grid systems to like divert electricity. So we lost all of our electricity. So it's me, my husband, my son, and then our friend that we had actually had to go get. Her dogs are at the house, no electricity. My phone's running low. I have boats in the water. And I'm like, what do I do? So my husband said, well, you know what? Tubular Solutions, which is where he works, is literally 3 minutes down the road, and there's still electricity there. We can get there, so let's go set up shop there. We took it, we got there, and I just started asking people for help. And before I knew it, we had about 24 dispatchers in the room with us. We had TSI let us use the entire warehouse to run goods all over Houston. So we had pallets of water being brought in from Tyler and like stuff coming in from Austin. People were just dumping off. We ended up running like 28 truckloads of donations around the city from that warehouse. Sorry. It's a lot. Like, it's just, people don't realize like how much the community, like, if they had not have done that, like, there's no way Houston would have pulled out of that. Like, there's no way if the community had come together. Jennifer Pinkerton and Chad Pinkerton were like dropping off boxes of hot food for us. That's how I met her, because they showed up with hot food for like our guys in boats. And I remember that our Facebooks and our social medias started crashing because there were so many people reaching out to us. One of my best friends, we've been best friends since we were kids. She was with me. She was helping me dispatch. And I was like, well, we need to just create a page so that we can start pulling all that traffic over to that page. And she said, well, what do we call it? You know, like, what do I call the page? And I was like, I don't know. Just, we're on Brittmoore Road. Just call it Brittmoore Rescue. That's literally how we started.
Wow.
So that page grew. There were thousands of people, like, I mean, like, that have like gone and like sending like stuff to us and like, hey, we need help here and these people need help. We're dispatching boats from there. We have dispatchers in Missouri, Virginia. We have people in England, Australia, like, that have actually like Brittmoore's not just like here.
Right.
It's everywhere because there's so many people tied to it.
But how fun is it, I think, and important to acknowledge what an amazing community we have. And that, you know, I think that Harvey was one of those moments where you could have really gone two paths to the left or to the right.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it showed that our community really pulled together. And I think, you know, like you said, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean just because you weren't in Houston, you didn't feel it. You either would have family directly affected by it, friends, even if you're, you know, you yourself weren't dealing with the flooding, you definitely knew someone that was. And I think it's incredible the way that the community pulled together.
It was everyone.
And that you took, you know, your resources and your, you know, base of friends.
She heard the call and she heeded. You know, it was like she just did it. And that just goes to show you, you know, do it scared. I mean, don't think you have to know everything. And you don't know what we're doing. And you don't have to ever do it alone. Like, there are so many willing participants in whatever it is that you want to do and take hold.
The thing is like, there are still so many good individuals in this world. I know we hear so much, like, there's so much bad going on right now, like in the newspapers eating up shootings and you know, deaths here, murders here. At the end of the day, though, there's still so many good people in this world, like so many people that want to help, that are literally drawn to helping because it makes them feel good. It gives them a sense of purpose. And I've always told people, I'm like, I completely 100% believe that humans were put on this earth to save each other. We are meant to save each other. And if we would just focus on that instead of focusing on, it's, you know, politics, you know, I saw that, you know, there's a right wing and a left wing, but, you know, a bird can't fly without either of those wings. So like, you got to learn to work together in order to get
together
off the ground, you know? And I'm like, if you just would work together, because I'll tell you, during Harvey, there was no color. No one cared.
That's so true.
How much money you had in your pocket. No one cared what your social status was. No one cared what color, what religion, what political side you're on. No one cared about that. All they cared about was making sure that they were out of the water and then getting everybody else out of the water. And I hate that, you know, it sucks that something so dramatic like that has to happen to pull a community together. But at the end of the day, it's almost like a beautiful tragedy. Like, it was
every once in a while we have to be reminded maybe of our humanity and what's really important.
That's absolutely right. It's humanity, but it's humanity at a point where they don't have any other. There's no other way for them to be except human and to feel for a human, and it takes all of that away. You know, Harvey washed a lot of that away. It washed a ton of that away. At that point in time when Harvey came through, the city was extremely diverse. I mean, it was so divided and there was so much angst and anger and everything, and Harvey washed it away. The unfortunate part about that is that Houston only had 3% of people in Houston had flood insurance. That's it.
So that's because places that never flooded. Like where we are.
Well,
I've never flooded before.
Exactly. I think some people that aren't from the area may not have realized, and that was that Harvey caused damage. Absolutely.
Yes.
But there's a reservoir as well, and kind of on the west side of Houston, which was released. So a lot of people thought they were free and clear from Harvey damage. And once the reservoir was released, you had a lot of flooding happen. I know in the area that I grew up, in a home that I grew up in, you know, I lived there for 18 years, never flooded. And then it flooded, you know, so like you said, there was a lot of homes where people have no flood insurance.
And that was Bear Creek in general. Bear Creek was one of them. I mean, they had 4 to 6 feet of water, and that was so quick. I can remember the call coming through and them saying, you know, they're going to they have to. If they don't let the water go, it's going to burst, and then we're really messed up. And so they're going to start control releasing it. And so we started immediately calling around that area. We started sending as many boats as we had to that area. And we were just like, we need you to grab everyone out of there. It's mandatory now. They need to get out because there's literally about to be 5 to 6 feet of water in those homes. Nobody counted on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of them were, a lot of them were not in flood zones. A lot of them were outside the flood zone area, but you're right. I mean, nobody expected that.
No.
And you have $1 million. I mean, I know that there's $1 million homes down in Memorial and Voss and all those areas, and they're selling at a lot of value right now because there was so much damage done to them that you can't insure. Not a lot of them weren't insured.
Mm-hmm.
FEMA could only dole out so much money. There, people are still fighting for that, and I don't think my biggest wish from Brittmoore and from any events that we do is that. Yes, it's meant to raise money and proceeds for the community, but I also want people to please stay aware as to how bad the community is actually still hurting. I think that people forget because it's been so long ago that it's, okay, well, it's 2 years ago.
Right.
No, it's people have forgotten that you drive down Memorial and it looks fine, but 5 out of 10 of those houses are gutted. There's nothing in them. If you go to other areas, it's really bad. So we work with a woman named Stacy Fleming, and we also she works with those organizations are Praying Pelicans, Yellow Boots. These are the ones that are rebuilding homes. People, like Rob Hefner out of League City, he works with veterans and trying to rebuild those homes as well. So there are organizations out there that are still rebuilding these homes. And the only funding that they get are through donations from organizations like this. And I don't want people, because somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, we just saw the news and they said only like four homes have been repaired. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, because I know for a fact that Stacy Fleming is like on house number 25 or 26. We've done a lot more than that. There have been a lot more homes done. The city might have done 4, but these organizations are pushing out homes and they're getting these people back home. And sometimes you might not know it.
Right.
Because I have a friend she was at work and she had a lady next to her for almost a year after Harvey. Had no idea that this woman had been living in her car. Had no idea until she finally mentioned that, hey, I just got into my new apartment. I'm so excited. I can go home.
There's a lot of shame in that, even if it wasn't their fault. Can you imagine, how do you go to work and say I'm living in my car? Because, I know I'm a pretty strong person. And if I'm going through something, everyone's the last to hear. You won't hear about what I've been going through until I'm on the other side of it. And there's a lot of people out there like that.
That's
we take pride in our homes and our lives. And so it's amazing. So I want to ask, is there a way that, let's say people don't live in Houston area and maybe can't travel to come to the fundraiser, is there a way that they can contribute?
So we actually have a donation button. So if you go to our website, it's just brittmorerescue.com. Brittmoore spelled just like the street here in Houston. So it's Brittmoore. But brittmorerescue.com, there is you can actually do a lot of stuff on our website. So you can volunteer. And we have lots of places for people to volunteer. So if you'd like to do dispatching, we have that. If you'd like to volunteer yourself in your boat, we have that too. If you would like to get involved with event planning or volunteer work at the events or rebuilds, we have spaces for anyone. Like anything that you can think to volunteer, there is a place for you. But at the bottom too, there's also a donation button. So you can actually you go in there, click, it'll go straight toward to our PayPal account set up for donations. And the one thing that we like to do too is we like to be very open with sharing things that have been done. I think that sometimes you give money and give money and give money to charities, but you want to see that being done. You want to see what your money is going towards. So we're very good about taking photos or getting interviews from the people that we've helped. Or
I was going to say on your Facebook page, Brittmoore Rescue. It's fun to look on there because she has so many videos of people that are receiving, things that have allowed them, like you said, to rebuild their home showing them getting back in their home or doing the volunteering. So you can see it firsthand on their Facebook page, which is great that you are giving that transparency.
You want to see that though. You want to know people are more inclined to help if they can see the results. So we want to make sure that they see those results. And it's like I tell people, I'm like, you have no idea how much the smallest donation helps. You have no idea. I mean, $50, that takes care of like the tracking and the taping and everything for the new carpet or the new flooring going in. That takes care of little things like faucets or fixtures or needing paint, stuff like that. $50, like that good. That does a lot in a home. Especially when because I mean, when they go in, I mean, we're basically trying to use the bare minimum that we can to get those homes done. It may not look like a castle by the time we're done, but it's livable. And and you can come back in it, and there's, you don't have to worry about mold or any of that. It's, you can live in it. So, and that's our deal. We're not, we can't necessarily give you back everything the storm took from you, but we can help put at least back into a spot where you and your family can go home. Because these people have been at home for 2 years. You know, it's 2 years now.
It's been a long time.
You know, and some of these people are still going home. And I had a gentleman ask me last year, and this, just keep this in perspective, because I had a gentleman last year at Come Heels or High Water when we had it at Lumen. He said, well, what are you going to do? He goes, this can't go on forever. So what are you going to do 10 years from now when there's no more homes or stuff? And I said, I want you to keep in mind that Katrina at that time, Katrina was almost 15 years ago. And there's still areas not rebuilt. They're still rebuilding. When you have a storm of that magnitude, it takes decades to rebuild a city and a communities. It takes a long, long time to get, and that's just the homes. You're not talking about the buildings, the streets, it's businesses, everything. Like, it takes a long time for all of that to be rebuilt and redone. You can't just say, okay, we're just gonna do this a couple of years and everybody's gonna go home. It doesn't work like that. And then what happens if 6-7 years from now we're getting all that done and another one comes through?
Because that's just,
that's just part of living near the
where we
Gulf.
live. Yes, we're always going to have our
and the
storms
are getting stronger and stronger.
They are for sure. Waters are getting warmer. Not to say that we're saying anything about climate change or global warming or any of that. It's
Nothing.
just fact of the matter.
And I'd like to say, just for a minute, we've got some people hopping on today. We've got Laura Jorn on there who said, thank you for everything you do for Houston during Harvey. So she's actually been a guest on our show. And Carrie said, wow, that's awesome, that you guys are doing
I know,
this.
you're going to put a lump in my throat. Y'all have no idea how emotional I get over this stuff.
Like, your heart's in it.
It is. It's passion.
So for sure. Now, okay, we've talked about, obviously, Brittmoore.
Yes.
We know that you're a beauty queen, but you're a mom as well. And so I want to now ask you what I ask all of our guests. Tell me your why. What's driving you? Because she also has a show of her own. We're going to put all that on the comments. But I mean, this woman is a phenomenal woman that is doing so much for so many people. There is got to be this huge force behind you that's driving you. What is your why?
I think that God uses people for he puts you in uncomfortable situations. That's why I tell people sometimes, I say, get uncomfortable. If you're too comfortable, get uncomfortable. Because I don't think that people fully show what they're capable of until they're really uncomfortable. I also believe in compassion. I believe in people. I believe in a community. Houston was really good to me. When I moved here in 2009, I had nothing. We had just gone through a recession in Austin, and the job market had crashed. We could not find work. I'm, single mom, just fresh out of college, don't have anything. And I feel like Houston just it just developed me. Like, once you get your little niche or where you want to go, it just developed. And I always feel like I owed something to Houston. Like, I owed something because it did reach out and take and grasp me. But I love doing what I do too. I do this because I feel that's what you're supposed to do as human beings. Again, I feel like if God gives you the capability to do something and go out there, then you should probably do it. And don't ask questions, because I learned a long time ago, God will put you on the path for something and you sure don't know what it might be. And when it gets uncomfortable, that probably means you're going in the right direction. I posted something the other day. I said, the devil does not break into empty houses.
I read that post. Absolutely loved it.
And I believe that. I believe that the devil does not break in to empty houses. So if you're going through something, you need to find something. You need to find a passion. You need to put your heart into it, because you're being pushed in a direction. You should follow that always. And it's not going to make sense. There's been so many times I've done things in my life And I'm like, that did not make sense when it was going on. But afterwards, I'm like, I got it now. Okay, I get it. But do not let fear hold you back from something. Do not, because fear, I believe fear has held so many people back from so many things.
Right.
I think there's so much talent out there. I think that there's so many people that are capable of really amazing things. We're human beings are really amazing creatures of all the things that we can do. Such a little tiny species here on Earth, and look how much we've done. And it's because somebody decided to just feel the fear. Just feel it. It's okay. Be scared.
I think that's such a great message, you know, to just get out there and do it.
Yeah,
you know,
just go.
If you're scared, that's probably the best time.
It's the best time
to do something.
That's the best time.
And, you know, I think that on Find Her Seat, we're all the time wanting to showcase women that are doing things that, you know, come out of fear. And they do things, I mean, shoot, our show right here is something that we're doing that we never thought, we didn't know how to do it. And we just were like, you know what? We're just going to do it.
I'm telling you, it's everybody's motto. Don't do the things you don't know what you're doing. It always turns out you have the most fun doing something that you don't know what you're doing and just learning as you go. Absolutely. Because I mean, how many times we were growing up and you're like, oh, well, you know, I don't learn by being lectured at. I learn by doing something hands-on.
Right.
Everybody learns that way. Like everybody learns hands-on. So if you feel like you want something, if you feel like you want to learn how to do something, then
do it.
Do it. Just go for it. If you fail at it, okay, keep failing. Fail 100 times. Fail. And then finally, when you get it, it's going to taste even. It's amazing.
I would rather fail than to never try.
That's absolutely. My biggest fear is getting to the end of this earth and going, oh, I forgot to do that. I really wanted to do that.
I say that all the time. I've started my bucket list and I'm checking it off because I just don't want to get to the last day, whatever day that be. It could be tomorrow. When I'm sitting there, I want to make sure that I can say I did everything I wanted to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that to me should be one of the biggest fears. Like if you're going to be fearful of something, be fear
that
of
you didn't do everything.
You want time to do this. Right. It's not like you get to go, oh, I forgot. Let me go back and redo that. Like
let's rewind.
Yeah, let's try that again. It doesn't work that way. Do it. Do it. Just do it. And you know what? Do it. Give it everything you got on it. Just do it. Whatever makes your heart happy.
I love that.
And then do it again.
I love
it. Do it again. You know.
Now, we know that we can go to BrittmooreRescue.com. Is that?
That's correct.
Okay. And then also, like I said, her Facebook page for Brittmoore Rescue. And then Come Heal or High Water has a Facebook page.
It does. Has a Facebook page.
And I know you get your tickets on there. Yes. And like I said, Jennifer and I are going to be there. And so we want to hopefully get to meet some of you that are watching our show that we don't get to see. I know we've got, we've got Cassie on here. So inspirational. And Mary Edwards. So that's great. So we appreciate when you guys hop on here and, you know, reach out to our guests that we're having. Are there any other places that they can find you?
Oh, yes. So the event is being covered by so many, actually, and we're blessed this year because we had a lot of magazines and a lot of networks pick up the event. So Houston Press, Houston Chronicle, Style Magazine, Culture Map, what else? Scene Magazine. I don't want to forget anybody. They've all covered the event. Har.com has covered the event. I don't know.
Amazing.
So you can actually go on those websites and they're all clicked to the Eventbrite link and you can go on and order your tickets. And again, it's $50 for a general admission ticket. I mean, you get to come dress up because it's Havana night themed.
It's going to be so much fun to dress up.
Yes, dress up. We all like dressing up. So that's a night you can dress up, come out, have fun. Latin dancers, little Havana market, runway show, soiree, drinks. I mean, it covers everything. And if you do want to sit in the front row, it's $100. It's $100.
I don't know about y'all, but when I take my kids to the movies, it's more than $50.
Yes.
It sure is.
And this is going to be, I mean, not that I don't love a movie with the kids, but come on, a nice, fun adult night of dressing up and drinks and food.
For an extremely good cause.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. All your proceeds go into the houses being built. And they also do go into a little bit of our search and rescue efforts too. Sure. We're all over the country. So, I mean, we went to all the last hurricanes. So that fuel, food to keep our guys going in the boats. And then supplies. We run supplies too. After hurricanes hit, we go and take supplies to that area. So,
all from just sitting at her table in her home. I mean,
listening to the call.
If you think that you can't do it, I mean, get out there and do something. When you feel that passion in you and you feel like you know what? I can do something to change this.
That's right.
Yes.
Just do it. Just do it.
And I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you all so much.
Yes,
I really
and
appreciate
one
it.
of our viewers said, great earrings, ladies. And that takes me into, so I'm wearing our 2 chic accessories who have been so sweet to give us earrings from time to time. And as well, we have an upcoming guest. I believe it's next week. And it is Katie, and she's got Katie Lynn Beauty. And I am actually wearing her foundation and lipstick.
I'm
blush
saving
and
her lipstick for next week. I'll be sporting it next week.
Yes, and so we're always grateful for that, and absolutely so grateful that we got to be in Lucho today.
Yes.
I know that after the show is done, that we will be checking out some of the
new
shopping
shoes. They
shoes.
just got that new shipment in, and I mean, the new designs out for this.
They are just stunning.
So,
I mean, you are not going to see yourself coming and going if you get yourself some shoes from Lucho. I mean, these are some fabulous shoes.
Well, and they're amazing. They're amazingly made. They're high quality and they're affordable too. Like they're not as ghastly expensive as some of the other brands.
Right.
You can afford them too.
Right.
Beautiful shoes.
Some of those red bottom heels.
That's right. These
are ladies know
bottom.
about it. I know.
These have the orange bottoms. So
if you're listening to us or you're watching us, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, and there's a little button called subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. You're just never going to miss a video. And that way you can see what's going on here, and you can see the gorgeous shoes. You can see the even more gorgeous Jessica sitting with us. And you'll never, ever have to miss a show, and you'll always get your little notifications when Find Her Seat is finding her way to the table.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and put on the notifications as well on Facebook so you can see us live. Set your notifications there as well. And also make sure to subscribe to our podcast, and that is on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, you name it. It's out there. And if you subscribe to our show, then you will get notifications when a new show is available to listen to. But it's always fun if you are listening to hop on over to Facebook or our YouTube channel to get to see live. So when you know what we're talking about, beautiful shoes, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And like I said, make sure to go and follow Jessica, and that you go ahead and join us. Not this weekend, but the
August
next
24th.
For an amazing event.
August 24th, 7 p.m., Decorative Center of Houston, Come Hills or High Water, 2019 Havana Nights.
It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And we will see y'all next Tuesday.